Johannesburg is a divided city spatially. On average, a person here travels between 30 and 40 kilometers to get to work.
The majority of South Africans are presented with huge mobility and access challenges as a result of
apartheid spatial planning, systems that were designed where people lived as far away as possible from economic centers.
Gillian Hewitt and his family left their Pretoria home in 2013 to experience the other side. They lived in a shack next door to their domestic worker in Mamelodi Township and lived on 3,000 rand a month, like the average South African household. And of all the hardships, there was one that stood out. 40% of their income was spent on transport.
In public transport, the big debate is about whether we're investing in public transport to help yesterday's economy or to create tomorrow's economy.
Do you address the poor people or do you address the economic nodes?
There's a little bit of a chicken and egg situation.
If we don't invest in public transport, we're going to see a continuation of Johannesburg, of Gauteng, as the low-density capital of the world.
Public transport is about bringing people together. It's about making sure that a lawyer, a worker, and a businessman travel on the same train.
Every day, 2.5 million South Africans will commute by train. Every week, 25 million people will use a minibus taxi to get around. And every month, 40,000 new cars join our rat race. Despite this, South Africa has a major public transport headache. The problem is, most people live too far from where they work. They need a safe, efficient and reliable public transport system. It'll go a long way in uniting a socially disjointed nation and facilitating economic growth. For Hewitt, living in the township on the fringes of society was a month-long social experiment. But for his landlord, security guard Peter Msiza, the transport troubles of living in the township are an everyday struggle. They leave for work at 4 a.m. Catching a minibus taxi would be the easiest option. 83% of public transport journeys in South Africa rely on them. But it's expensive. Hewitt and Msiza will save 20 rand a day by rather walking the 4 kilometers to and from the nearest train station.
George.
Every morning begins with a fight for space.
Very full, this train now. It's unfair.
This is supposed to be the 5 o'clock train. It's probably about 5:05, 25 past 5 at the moment. So this is as on time as you're going to get.
And they don't even tell us what's the cause of the problem to be late.
Many are simply praying for a more humane public transport system.
It's full of people. We are tired before even we get to job, and you see so many people. It's about 5 trains in one train.
This is what we have to experience in each and every day of our lives. All they do, they paint the walls, they change the what, but nothing to improve our train systems.
If this sounds familiar, it is. In the 20 years since democracy, little has changed for most commuters using the train.
the Metro Rail rolling stock is on average some 46 years old.
But PRASA insists 123 billion rand of taxpayers' money can make the system new again. Over the next 10 years, they're rolling out 3,600 new coaches, most of which will be built in South Africa.
These trains that we have, they've served the country so well for many years, but now they've reached the end of their life, and it's time that we now, instead of keep on fixing them, we embark on a strategy to replace them.
One of the new stations is being built just meters from the Mamelodi shack where Hewitt and Msiza started their walk. Their commute will be cut by an hour every day. Msiza continues on the train to his workplace, while Hewitt gets off at Hatfield. His next ride is the Gautrain. Gautrain also have big expansion plans, investing over 50 billion rand to extend the line by over 100 kilometers.
The predictions are that we'll have about 18.6 million people living in Gauteng But more importantly, we'll have 8.6 million workers in Gauteng. The black middle class, in a sense, is a threat there because, again, if you see public transport as the poor man's transport, if they start buying more and more cars and using that for the home work trip, we are heading in the wrong direction. We are heading to even more gridlock.
For now, just 20% of Gauteng households own cars, but it's changing. The middle class is growing, and future transport systems will have to be world-class to stop them getting their own wheels.
Today is my birthday, I'm turning 22, and my first day at work. Life before I had a car was really tough. It really wasn't a good feeling, you know, walking in the rain and you're wet and you're tired. I honestly would never use public transport again. My comfortability is the most important thing to me right now, and if it means being stuck in traffic for 3 hours, something that I don't mind doing.
That segment of the market has grown by approximately 1.1 million over the past decade. So that gives us an additional 100,000 people per annum coming on stream as middle-class households.
So the challenge that the government faces is finding a balanced solution between building infrastructure in deprived neighbourhoods, but also densifying populations around economic hubs. Using an interconnected mix of BRT buses, minibus taxis and freeway systems to connect the cities of tomorrow.
The cost of getting public transport investments wrong is that we will create stranded infrastructure serving yesterday's economy, taking people from where they don't want to be in residential terms to where they don't need to be in employment terms. We need to invest in what the economy is going to be like tomorrow, not what the economy is like today, or even worse, what it was like yesterday.
It would be very sad if South Africa ended up with a classist public transport system and you had one mode of public transport for those who can afford it and a very different service offering and standard for others.
The ideal city is a city in which an 8-year-old child feels free to move around and can move around safely and effectively. And I think that that's the kind of South African town and city that we should dream for.
A growing number of people in cities around the world are choosing the car as their preferred mode of transport. A congested future looks almost certain in South Africa, unless public transport improves and adapts to the evolving needs of its customers, ensuring better quality of life for both Hewitt and Msiza's children. Yusuf Omar, Johannesburg.
Know more about your world. eNCA.com